Aging is often framed as an inevitable decline, a slow surrender of strength, balance, and vitality. Yet the science tells a far more empowering story. Your body and brain are capable of remarkable adaptation well into later decades of life. What researchers are now uncovering is that even a brief, consistent daily practice of targeted movement and neuromuscular activation can preserve muscle, improve balance, and enhance cognitive function long after 60. Here is what is fascinating. Studies from institutions such as the University of California, Los Angeles, and the American College of Sports Medicine demonstrate that just 10 minutes of carefully structured activity, if done with intention, can generate measurable improvements in muscle fiber recruitment, hormonal signaling, and even mitochondrial efficiency. The stakes are not just physical. Maintaining strength and coordination influences confidence, emotional regulation, and independence, directly impacting how you engage with your family, friends, and the world. When you feel physically capable, your brain mirrors that capability, your focus sharpens, your mood stabilizes, and your capacity for resilience grows. Neuroscience reveals that the simple act of moving your body sends a cascade of signals through the nervous system, increasing neurotrophic factors that support neuron growth and synaptic plasticity. In plain language, moving your muscles moves your mind. Today, I will guide you through a concise 10-minute daily routine designed to maintain and even build strength after 60, blending principles of progressive muscle engagement, balance training, and functional movement. You will learn not only what to do, but why it works, with the science broken down in ways that feel both clear and immediately actionable. By the end, you will have practical tools that require nothing more than your body, a few minutes of dedicated focus, and the commitment to reclaiming strength and confidence day by day. If you have ever worried that your age limits your capacity to remain strong and independent, this routine will challenge that assumption and provide a concrete path forward. One of the most profound shifts that occurs after 60 is the natural decline of muscle mass, a process known as sarcopenia. Left unchecked, it reduces strength, slows metabolism, and compromises balance, which is why many people associate aging with fragility. Yet, here is what the research shows. Muscle fibers remain highly adaptable even in later decades of life, and the key to preserving them is not hours in a gym, but intentional, repeated signals sent to the body through short bouts of resistance and functional movements. A study published in the journals of gerontology revealed that older adults who performed brief daily resistance exercises such as bodyweight squats and wall push-ups experienced significant gains in both muscle strength and neural activation within just a few weeks. What is happening in your brain when this occurs is equally important. Each time you contract a muscle under resistance, you activate motor neurons in the spinal cord, and these neurons signal the brain to strengthen synaptic connections. Over time, this rewiring improves coordination and reaction speed, qualities that are just as essential as raw strength when it comes to preventing falls and maintaining independence. Think of your muscles like a choir and your nervous system like the conductor. With age, some voices in the choir grow quieter, and the conductor becomes less precise. Daily resistance-based activation is the rehearsal that restores both the volume and the timing. Even something as simple as a slow, controlled squat uses multiple muscle groups, engages stabilizers, and trains your nervous system to fire in synchrony. Now, here is a practical tool you can use. Begin your 10-minute routine with 2 minutes of controlled squats, moving slowly enough that you can feel both the lowering and the rising phases. This not only strengthens large muscles like the quadriceps and glutes, but also stimulates balance centers in the cerebellum and vestibular system, areas of the brain that regulate posture and stability. If a full squat feels difficult, you can modify by sitting down onto a chair and then standing back up, which provides the same neural and muscular benefits without excessive strain. Another simple yet powerful activation is the wall push-up. Research from the National Institute on Aging has shown that upper body strength correlates with improved cardiovascular outcomes and reduced risk of disability. A wall push-up performed for just 2 minutes trains the chest, shoulders, arms, and even core stabilizers while minimizing joint stress. From a neuroscience perspective, this movement recruits motor units across multiple regions of the motor cortex, reinforcing pathways that keep your brain-body connection sharp. You may not realize it, but this connection between upper body strength and brain health is well established. Studies on grip strength, for instance, consistently show it as one of the strongest predictors of cognitive resilience. What this tells us is simple. When you strengthen your body, you are strengthening your brain. So the first element of your 10-minute daily routine is resistance-based activation, specifically through controlled squats and wall push-ups. Together, these movements awaken major muscle groups, increase motor neuron firing, and stimulate brain regions responsible for coordination and balance. You are not just exercising your muscles, you are training your nervous system to remain adaptable. If you commit to these first 4 minutes daily, you are sending your body and brain the most powerful signal they can receive after 60, that strength, stability, and growth are still possible. If resistance training forms the foundation of strength after 60, balance training is the bridge that connects that strength to daily life. Strength without stability is like having a powerful engine in a car with worn-out tires. The potential is there, but the control is missing. Here is what the research shows. Falls are the leading cause of injury-related hospital visits among older adults. And most falls occur not because of a lack of strength, but because of impaired balance and slowed reaction times. Yet studies, including a notable one published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, demonstrate that balance can be significantly improved in as little as 10 minutes of daily practice, leading not only to fewer falls, but also to increased confidence in movement. This confidence in turn directly influences brain chemistry, lowering stress hormones such as cortisol, while boosting dopamine and serotonin, which enhance motivation and emotional resilience. In other words, training balance is not just about avoiding harm, it is about reinforcing a mindset of capability. So how do we translate this into your daily 10-minute routine? The simplest yet most effective balance tool is the single leg stance. Stand tall, lift one foot just a few inches off the ground and hold. At first, you may only manage 10 or 15 seconds before wobbling, but do not mistake that wobble for failure. It is actually your nervous system learning. The cerebellum, which sits at the back of your brain, is actively recalibrating muscle responses, adjusting posture, and strengthening synaptic connections each time you steady yourself. Just 2 minutes of alternating single-leg stances repeated daily has been shown to improve both static and dynamic balance within a few weeks. For safety, you can perform this next to a wall or sturdy chair, lightly holding on until your stability improves. To deepen the benefits, add a simple variation. Close your eyes. Removing visual input forces the brain to rely more on proprioception, the sense of where your body is in space, which is mediated by receptors in your muscles and joints. This not only challenges your balance more deeply, but also enhances neural integration across sensory and motor systems. A study in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience found that proprioceptive training improved not only stability, but also cognitive function, showing again that balance training strengthens both brain and body. Imagine standing on one leg with your eyes closed. It might feel challenging, but in those few seconds, your nervous system is building resilience that protects you in daily life. Here is another simple but powerful exercise. The tandem walk. Place one foot directly in front of the other, heel touching toe, and walk slowly across the room. This movement challenges the vestibular system in your inner ear and engages core stabilizers, creating a full body balance stimulus in less than a minute. The key is not speed but control. Each step is a message to your brain that your body is stable, coordinated, and ready to adapt. If you are finding this information helpful, consider subscribing to the channel. Not only will you stay updated on more science-backed routines like this one, but you will also join a community of people committed to staying strong, sharp, and independent at every stage of life. Your engagement helps us bring this kind of research-driven guidance to more people who need it. So with part 2 of the routine, you now have 2 minutes of single-leg stance training and 2 minutes of tandem walking, which combined with the resistance exercises from part 1 bring you to 8 minutes of intentional practice. If strength is the foundation and balance is the bridge, then mobility is the open road. It allows you to move with freedom, efficiency, and confidence. Many people assume that stiffness and reduced range of motion are inevitable parts of aging, yet science shows otherwise. A study published in the Journal of Aging Research demonstrated that older adults who engaged in just a few minutes of daily mobility practice not only regained joint flexibility, but also reported less pain and greater independence in everyday tasks. What is happening in your body when you move through mobility drills is profound. Cartilage is nourished by motion, and synovial fluid, which lubricates joints, is distributed more effectively with every controlled stretch and rotation. Meanwhile, sensory receptors in the muscles and tendons send feedback to the brain, fine-tuning motor control and reducing the likelihood of injury. In simple terms, when you move your joints, you are feeding them, protecting them, and teaching your nervous system to maintain smooth, efficient patterns of motion. A study published in the Journal of Aging Research demonstrated that older adults who engaged in just a few minutes of daily mobility practice not only regained joint flexibility, but also reported less pain and greater independence in everyday tasks. What is happening in your body when you move through mobility drills is profound. Cartilage is nourished by motion, and synovial fluid, which lubricates joints, is distributed more effectively with every controlled stretch and rotation. Meanwhile, sensory receptors in the muscles and tendons send feedback to the brain, fine-tuning motor control and reducing the likelihood of injury. In simple terms, when you move your joints, you are feeding them, protecting them, and teaching your nervous system to maintain smooth, efficient patterns of motion. A practical entry point for mobility training is the hip hinge. Stand with your feet shoulder-width apart, keep your back straight, and slowly bend forward at the hips as if you are bowing. This simple movement, performed for 1 minute, strengthens hamstrings and glutes while stretching the lower back, combating one of the most common sources of stiffness after 60. Neuroscience research highlights that the hip hinge not only builds posterior chain strength, but also enhances proprioception, the ability to sense body position, which contributes to safer movement in daily life. Another powerful drill is the shoulder roll. Slowly rotate your shoulders forward and backward in wide circles, coordinating breath with each motion. This helps release tension in the upper body, improves circulation, and maintains fluidity in the shoulder joint, which is critical for tasks ranging from lifting groceries to reaching overhead. A study from the Journal of Physical Therapy Science found that daily shoulder mobility exercises reduce stiffness and improved functional strength in older populations within 6 weeks. To enhance spinal mobility, incorporate a gentle seated twist. Sit upright in a chair, place one hand on the opposite thigh, and slowly rotate your torso while breathing deeply. This controlled motion lubricates spinal joints, engages core muscles, and stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, which calms stress and supports recovery. It is not just about flexibility, it is about teaching your body to move as an integrated system rather than as isolated parts. Another highly effective mobility tool is ankle circles. Many older adults underestimate the importance of ankle mobility, yet it directly influences balance and gait. Simply sitting down and rotating each ankle for 30 seconds clockwise and counterclockwise wakes up stabilizer muscles and strengthens neural pathways critical for walking stability. Even this seemingly small drill has measurable impact. Research shows that ankle mobility training reduces fall risk and improves walking speed in adults over 65. Here is how mobility fits into your 10-minute routine. Dedicate 2 minutes to hip hinges, 2 minutes to shoulder rolls, 1 minute to a seated twist, and 1 minute to ankle circles. That brings the total to 10 minutes when combined with your resistance and balance work, creating a complete science-backed practice. Imagine how different your body would feel after 30 days of this. Joints would move more freely, stiffness would ease, and your movements would feel lighter and more controlled. This is where habit change becomes essential. You may wonder, can just 10 minutes really make a difference? The evidence says yes. Consistency, not intensity, drives neuroplasticity and physical adaptation. Each day you reinforce these movements, you are laying down neural highways in your brain that support strength, coordination, and resilience. And remember, if this speech is bringing you value, sharing it with someone you care about could help them reclaim their mobility and independence as well. So mobility is not a luxury or a stretch for athletes. It is a daily tool for staying young in both movement and mind. When you combine it with resistance and balance, you are building a triad of strength, stability, and fluidity that protects your independence and expands your freedom of movement every single day. Strength, balance, and mobility give you the physical framework for resilience, but it is your cardiovascular system and your breathing patterns that provide the energy and endurance to sustain it. Many people over 60 underestimate the importance of cardiovascular activation, thinking it requires long jogs or intense sessions on machines. Yet research shows that even a few minutes of intentional movement that elevates the heart rate produces measurable benefits for brain and body. Neuroscience tells us that the brain listens to repetition, and over time, these repetitions become the blueprint for how you age. Every time you complete this 10-minute practice, you are not just exercising, you are making a statement to yourself and to your brain. I am capable, I am resilient, and I am still growing. Neuroscience tells us that the brain listens to repetition, and over time, these repetitions become the blueprint for how you age. So here is my challenge to you. Starting today, commit to 10 minutes. No special equipment, no complicated routines, just 10 minutes of deliberate practice grounded in science. Notice how your body feels afterward. Notice the subtle improvements each week. Squats feeling steadier, balance holding longer, movements flowing more easily. Allow yourself to recognize that progress, because it is the evidence that your efforts are changing not only your muscles, but also your nervous system and your mindset. If you stay consistent, the next 30, 60, or 90 days will not only transform your physical strength, but also deepen your confidence in what you are capable of. I invite you to join this journey with us. If today's breakdown gave you clarity and tools you can apply immediately, consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. By doing so, you become part of a community committed to staying strong, sharp, and independent at every stage of life. And I encourage you to share this with someone you care about, because you never know how a simple 10-minute daily practice could change their health and their future. Remember, aging is not just about the number of years lived. It is about the quality of energy, strength, and engagement you bring to each day. 10 minutes may seem small, but done consistently, it is one of the most powerful investments you can make in yourself. So take the challenge, claim the time, and watch how your body and mind reward you with resilience that lasts well beyond 60. These are not just random movements, they are precision tools designed to recalibrate your nervous system, sharpen your reaction time, and build unshakable stability. The science is clear: balance is not lost with age, it is neglected. With a few minutes daily, you can restore it.